friends, thanks for stopping by. Hope you're all having a great day. I have a little surprise video for you. Many of you have been asking for my kitchen recipe videos, so today I am kicking off fall with a white bean chicken chili. This is my version. It's kind of a Southwestern flair to it. I'll have all of the ingredients below, measurements and such. And let's get going. My pan is already preheated. I am using avocado oil. You can use any oil you choose. I'm going to put just about a tablespoon and a half. This is to get my onions and garlic going, and in my trusty little chopper here I have one very large onion, and I love this little gadget. I'll link it below if I can find it, but it takes all the tear work away. So I have my onions fairly large chopped. I do like them on the larger side. I like a chunky chili, not a minced chili, but you make it any way you want. So you're just going to put your onions in. And you're going to follow with your garlic. Now I use a ton of garlic, my friends. You all know that if you've been watching me do my cooking videos. So I have 5 cloves of minced garlic that is going to go in. And a good trick to do is to cut your garlic in advance, about 15-20 minutes, because you bring out all the healthy ingredients, all the active ingredients, the longer it sits. I don't know if that made sense, but we're going to go with it. Now I have pre-measured a teaspoon of salt. That is all I am going to use in this recipe. I'm trying to cut back on salt. So we're just going to salt our onions. I do believe in layering when you're cooking. So just a little bit of salt for this layer, and then I'm going to take some cracked pepper, and to your liking pepper. We like a lot of pepper, so we got a lot of pepper going on in there. So now what we're going to do here is we are simply going to sweat the onions and garlic together. We're not really going for a caramelization or anything like that. We are just softening the onion. I'm starting to get a little teary-eyed here. But anyway, we're just going to soften that down just slightly. So I'm going to give it a few minutes to soften. Okay, so this is cooked for just about 5 minutes, just to soften the onions and the garlic. Now I'm going to just move it all aside here, and I'm going to add just a touch more oil because we are using chicken breast, ground chicken breast, and it is really dry. Turkey has a little more fat in it. If you're using turkey, you won't have to do this, but for chicken, because it's so dry, I do add just a touch more of the oil. So now I'm going to take my chicken, and I just have Wegman's ground chicken here. And it is vegetarian, free-range, no antibiotics, added hormones, vegetarian fat. It's not vegetarian, obviously. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little pair of gloves on here because I don't like to touch raw chicken. So I'm going to put the gloves on, and then I'm just going to take the chicken and throw it in the pan. Make sure you don't cook this little piece of paper here. I've seen some people add that into their meal, and I don't think that's what it's there for. Alright, so now I am going to, it's 2 pounds of ground chicken that we are adding to this. I like my chili really chunky. I should say Lou likes his chili really chunky. So we're going to go ahead and just add 2 pounds of ground chicken breast. I highly suggest organic if your budget allows. And now we are going to just pack that down a little bit. And over here, I'm going to take off the glove now because I'm not going to be handling the chicken anymore. So I'm going to take some more of the salt. Now this, you really do have to put a layer of salt on to bring out the flavors of the chicken. But I still have a little bit of salt left. Now to that, I have, in this little jar here, I have some onion powder, cumin, chili powder, I have fennel seed, I have oregano. Everything will be listed in the amount that I use. So now, because I want to toast that flavor, it really adds a nice warmness to it. I want to go ahead and put them in before I put any liquid in. That is an old chef's trick. And then you want to just stir it up, and you want to make sure that you are just covering everything with that seasoning. And try not to throw it all over the place like I just did. Okay, that's not good. So we're going to go ahead and we're just going to break that up and let this cook down a little bit. It's going to take about 7 to 10 minutes for this to cook down just slightly, and you should have your burner on about a medium-high heat. Alright, so I am going to be back with you in a moment. So while my chicken is cooking, I'm going to add about, I'd say this is a ½ cup. This is frozen roasted poblano peppers. You can throw this in at this point where you're cooking your onions and your garlic, but I just throw it in when I'm doing my chicken because they're frozen and that'll help to unthaw it a little bit quicker, and plus it adds a little bit of moisture into the pan. I'm also going to add some of Trader Joe's. I absolutely love this. This is Trader Joe's roasted corn. Love, love, love. I put in, I'm going to say probably about a cup of it. I don't really measure it out, I just add it. It just adds a really nice smoky flavor. So add about, we'll say about a cup of the roasted corn. It is so good. You could even buy a bag of roasted red peppers and green peppers and chop them up and throw them in here. You can add and delete anything that you don't like in my recipe and make it your own. I mean, every recipe started someplace else and we just mold them and groom them to be our own, don't we? So, okay, so now I'm just still cooking the chicken down a little bit, not too much more, and I'm chopping it. This is a really nice wooden spoon because it's flat, so I just go along and I can chop the chicken that is cooking in large pieces down to be more bite-sized pieces. You don't want to mince it because, like I said, we like a chunky chili. So we are just finishing that up. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add about 3½ tablespoons of flour. And what this will do is it will help to thicken up your chili. So you're just going to sprinkle this over your chicken. And now you want to let this cook a few more minutes because you don't want to have that raw flour taste going on. So we're just going to go ahead and cook that for a few more minutes. And then we will add our liquid to it and our beans, and we'll go from there. But this is so yummy, and I've added different things in it. I mean, even if you wanted to add sweet potato in here or butternut squash, you can add that in. It's really good. So I'm just cooking it for a few more minutes. I say always cook it longer than you think you have to get that flour taste out, okay? So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add my beans. So now I'm adding 2 cans of white beans to my chicken mixture, and I'm just going to go ahead and stir that up, get the beans in there. Okay, so at this point I'm quite sure that the flour is gone, the flour taste. So now I'm going to take a container, this is 4 cups, 32 fluid ounces of organic free-range chicken broth, and I'm going to add it. I do like to get low sodium, but they were out of the low sodium, so I just went ahead and got this one. That's why I limited the amount of salt that I put into it. So now here is a little twist for me on this. And I've done this with red chili also, and with red chili I've also added some chocolate powder, and it's just so yummy. But at this point I'm going to add 1 bottle of beer, and I'm going to add this Belgium style ale. Lou likes this beer. It's flat tire, and the beer just adds a really nice earthy taste to the chili. It warms it up, it's smoky, and then that just, you really don't taste the beer in it, but it does add a beautiful, subtle, earthy tone to it. Lou loves it. So there it is. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to let that cook for a few minutes on medium-high, and then I'm going to turn it down to a simmer. You can smell the garlic, the beer, and the onions. Ooh la la. Anyway, we're going to let this just come to a slight simmer. You can see it's starting to simmer, and I'm just going to bring it to a light boil. Then I'm going to turn it down to simmer and allow it to simmer for 1 solid hour. And this will thicken up, and there's many ways you can serve this, so I'll be back when it is done. Alright, so we're back, and this has simmered for just about an hour, and you see how it thickens up? And it smells fabulous. So we're going to ladle it into a beautiful bowl. Now if you're a family that likes to have a grain, you could make some quinoa, you could make some grits, and just put a ladle or two over it, and then you've made it a more complete meal. We'll top it off with some beautiful pepper jack cheese. And then we'll have a beautiful hunk of, what is this? Organic multigrain baguette. And you could put some avocado, chopped up avocado on there, some sour cream. You could serve it with some chips instead of the bread. And I'll serve this alongside a really big salad, and it will be just perfect. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Let me know if you're going to try it. Thanks for stopping by, and don't forget, subscribe. We're anti-aging here. Be happy, healthy, beautiful, and most of all, my friends, lovable. Love you all. Bisous. And also, I will put everything that I used, measurements, down below. So hit that show more button to find out the ingredients. Okay? See ya.